The agenda of this video is to explain you about primary keys. So we'll cover what is primary key, how to create primary key, and key features of the primary key. Keep watching this video. Primary key constant. As it's in definition, in SQL Server, a primary key constant is a column or a combination of columns that uniquely identifies each rows in a table. The primary key must contain unique values and it cannot contain null values. The primary key constant ensures the integrity and the consistency of the data by preventing the entry of duplicate records and facilitating relationship between tables. I will explain this unique value cannot contain null and how it is facilitating to maintain the relationship between tables in upcoming videos. Use of primary key. PK means primary key. Primary key uniquely identifies each record in a table, ensures that each row in a table is uniquely identified by a specific column or combination of columns. It is a crucial element in maintaining data integrity and supporting relationship between tables. All the highlighted word what I have used in this slide, I am going to explain you with the help of real world example on SQL Server tool. So next thing is how to create primary key on our table. There are two ways with the help of which we can create primary key. First one is graphical, with the help of given tool, options, mouse and few options need to select and we can able to create our table with the primary key. And the second one is with the help of query. And when we are using the query to create our primary key, then again we have two options. One option while creating the table, as query is here while creating the table, and second thing, if while the time of creating table we haven't create the primary key, then we need to alter the table and add the primary key as in the below query. Okay, this is the two ways with the help of which we can create our primary key in the table. Let's jump into SQL Server. This is our SQL Server window. Here we have created a database clearcat_db. This is our database on which we are going to work. So before creating any table, we have to select our database here. Okay, we must have select our own database. Okay, by default always it was with master, but we have to make sure we have selected our own database on which we are going to work. As we know, we can create table with the help of mouse. When we right click here, we will get an option like new table. So we'll get this window and we can create like id int not null, then name and varchar allow null, then code it must be and varchar and allow not null. Okay, we need to save this and we can rename is that. Okay, wait, we have I haven't created any primary key on this table. So see, this is the cursor where we can create our, we can right click here, it will show the option set primary key. We can select it and we can save our table with the primary key id. Okay, but we have one more thing, it is not only a single column. Okay, we can create primary key on multiple column. We can create this one, or we can do one thing, we can control select and we can right click and set it. So id and code both will act as the combination of both will act as a primary key. Okay, we just have to save this one and city. Okay, save this one. Let's refresh this database. You will get a table with the name of city, and the city, when you expand this one, you will get the keys primary key city. Okay, and here is our table. You can right click here and script table as create. You will get the script to create similar table in our other database or any other resources where we are going to use this thing. Okay, this is the script what generated by our tool. The other way to create the table in our database is with the help of script. So here I have a script and I am going to create a table for employee in which I am going to create these 5 columns, in which initially this ID I am going to give this ID as a primary key. Okay, and other employee name, email ID, gender, city. This is employee name is anvarchar, email ID is anvarchar, gender is int and city is int. Why I have put a int for gender and city will explain you in upcoming videos, because we are going to use this column to explain foreign key on this table. Okay, let's run this query, execute. Okay, executed successfully. Just refresh this database once again and expand this one. Here employee, it is showing employee table here. Expand this keys and key, primary key. It is created a primary key for this table and the name of the primary key is this one. And the other way, if you forget to create a primary key while creating the table, we have the option to create the primary key. Let's drop the table first with the help of this query. I have selected this query and execute it. It will drop the table successfully. For the confirmation, we can just refresh this database and check whether it is there or not. The table went off from here. So the next query on which I am going to work is this one. Here I have created the table without the primary key. This is the query what I am going to use, and then the below query, alter query, this one is going to create a primary key on the ID in employee table. Okay, first I am going to execute this query. It will create a table. Let's refresh this once again and you will find out a table here with the employee, but here key is not there. Just need to alter this one. Let me alter this table and then again need to refresh this table only, and here we have the primary key employee. So this is the way how we can create primary keys in our table. And one more thing, as we know, primary key is not only for a single column. We can merge like 2 or 3 columns to act as a primary key. So what we have to do, let's do one more thing. Let's drop this table again. Okay, create this table. Then we are going to add one more column here, like email, and execute this. Oops, what? So it is showing cannot define primary key constant or nullable column. So what we have done wrong here, we have we haven't provided not null here. Because of that, it is not showing, it is not creating the primary key on this particular column. So we need to drop this table again, or we need to alter this table. We need to drop this one. Here we have to mark as not null. Then we can create this table again, then alter the table and add the primary key. Okay, let's check, refresh this table section and check. Now do one thing, expand this section first, keys. So what you will get, we have a primary key with the name PK, employee ID. Employee is our table and ID is the column. um, Actually it is the name. You can, because we have combined two columns, so we cannot say it is the ID one. It is the ID and email here. Okay, need to expand this one also. See, uh, we have only one primary key here, and this is the feature of primary key. Only one primary key should be there in a table, and this primary key is a combination of two columns, ID and email. So easily you can find out in any table which all are the columns or a single column acting as a primary key. So that is the way how we are creating the primary key on our table, and how we are going to distinguish inside a table which columns are acting as a primary key. Now the next one is key features of primary key. Below are the features what I have mentioned in this slide. First thing, uniqueness. Each value in a primary key column must be unique within the table. Let's jump into the SQL, how it is working here. Okay, so we have a table employee in which we have a column ID on which I have created the primary key, and this is the primary key name. Let's select the record inside the primary key. Okay, we have one record with the ID 1001. 1001 ID is a primary key. Let's do one thing. Try to insert a record with the same ID. ID 1001. We'll get error message because of the primary key. This is the uniqueness for the uniqueness feature of our primary key. The next one is not null. A primary key column cannot contain null value. Let's try same thing. Here I am passing null value in the ID where we have created primary key column. Let's execute this one. Again we are getting the error message, and what it is saying, it is value null into column ID, the table this one, column does not allow null. What next? Indexing. By default, database system automatically create an index. When we are creating a primary key on a column for a table, automatically it will create a index. And where we can get the index? Here is a place. You can easily find out the index and its name. Indexes, its use, kind of index, and how we can create our own indexes, I will explain in upcoming videos. The next one is single or composite. A primary key can be composed of a single column or multiple columns. So here I have already shown these things in the SQL server. We can pass multiple columns to create a primary key. Cool. And the next one is referential integrity. Actually this referential integrity is also belongs to our another constant known as foreign key, and that is also a kind of primary key for the another table, and it comes the feature under the primary key. Primary keys are often used to establish relationship between tables with the help of foreign keys. I will explain this in upcoming videos, but yes, it is good to know the features. It is a kind of feature of our primary key. Thank you for watching this video.